Hey guys, what's up? Aryo is here. Today we're gonna talk about 4 different basic units that we have in Papeon's first edition. And as you guys can see right in front of us, there are these 4 different units. We got the engineer or thinkers, we also have the gunners here, and the spearmen, and also the big guns, we get the 2 tanks. We're gonna take a look, get a dive in, and we can also talk about the features and how can you play with each of these units. So without further ado, let's get straight in. So the first unit type that we're gonna talk about is these 2 guys right here. We call it the gunners. This one is from Dursa Warriors, and this one is from PIK Horde. As you guys can see, each of them has a slightly different build, but it actually makes a big difference. So the first one, this is called Dursa Gunboy. This is the unit card, and this one is called PIK Cannoneer. As you guys can see here from the stats as well, that Dursa Gunboy has bigger speed point than PIK Cannoneer, but it deals less damage than PIK Cannoneer. So the idea is to actually have Dursa Gunboy more mobile than PIK Cannoneer, you know, to break the formation and stuff, because it can run faster, and since it has a straight angled cannon, then it means that it can shoot actually relatively shorter distance than the PIK Cannoneer that has this elevated cannon right here. You have like something to choose if you want to go more mobile, you know, break the enemy formation. I think Dursa Gunboy is a better choice, and if you want to camp in one position and try to shoot from a further distance, then I think PIK Cannoneer is your go-to unit. So basically with Dursa Gunboy, you load the bullet like this from the front, and since it can move, and you know, basically you just shoot like that. Whereas with this PIK Cannoneer, you cannot move that much. Also with this elevated trajectories, it's actually quite harder to aim, but then again, when it hits, it will deal you bigger damage. The other advantage of using PIK Cannoneer is actually you can try to shoot past some obstacle. Let's say this is an obstacle, you can actually shoot past through this to hit something else. So let's try if I can hit the spearman. I loaded the bullet already. Boom. So if you are the type of guy who wants to break formation, you can use this Dursa Gunboy, or if you're the type of guy who wants to camp in a safe position and snipe the enemy units from far away, you can use the PIK Cannoneer. I think out of all these 4 type of units from Papeon's first edition, this type of units is the most versatile one, and frankly this type of units are the one that creates a bit of difference between the Dursa Warriors and the PIK Horde. So yeah, that's all about this unit type, the gunners, and we're gonna move on to the next type of unit, the melee unit, or the spearmen. So basically for this type of unit, we call it the spearmen because they wield spear. This type of units are the first the first melee unit that is ever created for Papeon. As you guys can see, design-wise it's quite straightforward, simple. There is not so many mechanics here, there is no moving parts, it's all glued together. Although I'm actually rethinking to redesign part of this so that, you know, we can also create the hand to pivot around to make the spear moves, but more on that later on another video. So for this units, this is the unit cards. This one called PIK Lancer, and this one's called Dorsal Footboy. As you can see the stats here, Dorsal Footboy actually has more health point than PIK Lancer, and both have the same speed. I actually still need to work on the final stats for both of them to make it somehow still balanced while still having slight difference between the two units, between the different teams. I mean, also as you can see, there is no damage point here because unlike the range unit, unlike the gunners, these two, the way you play with this is a bit different. This unit is meant to use to knock the other units off so that the head will touch the ground and it will create sudden death. This is basically how we can use this Spearmen the best in the game. So you want to get as close as to the enemy unit, try to aim your spear to the head and try to flick it, hoping to make the head fall over like that. Close. One more. Boom. Like that. And as you guys maybe probably already know, if the heads of any unit touch the ground in this game, regardless of how many HP does the unit still have, it will go straight away to 0 and the unit will die. That's basically the sudden death. So I guess that's all about the Spearmen. If you're the type of player who wants to win quickly and disrupt the formation, get close, you know, get it done, get dirty, I think this melee unit is the best choice for you, you know. So yeah, that's the Spearmen, or the first melee unit of Papeon. The next unit type we're gonna talk about is these two little guy right here. Oops. These are the support unit of in Papeon, the first edition of Papeon. This is how the unit cards look like. The first one is here called PIK Builder. You get a small backpack here to store all the tools, units, and this is the Dorsal Tinker. Also get a nice rucksack right there at the back. Unlike the other unit types in Papeon, these two units right here are meant to support the team. So what does it mean? It means basically these two guys right here cannot attack, but what they can do is basically build some infrastructures to support the other team. The two infrastructures that this unit type can build for now are a blockade like this. So it can be built, but it needs to be adjacent to the unit. And just like the name implies, the blockades will block or protect your unit from any incoming attacks from the enemy. So if someone shoots, you know, hopefully this blockade can block whatever unit behind it. The next infrastructures that these two units can build is this one. It's called vending machine, and this thing, so if you manage to build this thing in the game, it will give you 1 extra action point per turn, because at the beginning, when you start the game, at the beginning of the game, each player only has 2 action points per turn, and by building this vending machine you will get 1 more extra action point. It means you can do more action per turn. The way you can build this, it's the same. It needs to be adjacent from the thinker or the builder, and it's actually separated in 2 parts, meaning to finish the building this, it will take you 2 action points, and it needs to be built part per part. You cannot just like build it right away like this. And in the game, if this infrastructure suddenly gets shut down or, you know, knocked over like this, then the effect of this infrastructure will be inactive until your thinker or builder unit can, you know, build it back. So yeah, I mean, there is still so many possibilities and features that I can add to this support unit right here, the builder and thinker. I'm also thinking to add more infrastructures that these 2 guys can build, so that way we still have so many you know, strategies or, you know, items that we can put in game. Some of my ideas that I'm gonna do pretty soon is basically adding sort of like a power plant, and it will be basically the energy or the cost for player to actually bring in some equipment to the game. So for instance, let's say this is the power plant. If your support unit can manage to build 2 power plant like this, then it can actually bring in some equipment like this to the game. So later on the item cards, I will write down that to equip this, there needs to be 2 powers in the game. And I think using the same mechanics, if one of the power plant get knocked over, then, you know, you're losing power, then it means that the item that needs 2 powers will be inactive until the powers is restored. That's the plan so far. And of course there will be more infrastructure coming. Yeah, but for now that's what the support units are for. And last but not least, we're gonna talk about the big gun right here, namely the tank units from the first edition of Papeon. As you guys can see, this is the unit cards for each. This one is a PIK Panzer, and this one is Dursau Chariot. Design wise, as you guys can see, it has a really bulky, huge posture, and this actually creates a stability while you are shooting, so it has like the best grip when you are trying to aim. So I must say, out of the 2 range unit that I have, this one has more stability. And these 2 different units has also a slightly different build. The PIK Panzer has a longer barrel than the Dursau Chariot, and it's also slightly elevated. So actually you can shoot further with the PIK Panzer than the Dursau Chariot. although it's not written here on the card. Actually on the latest update I add 2 more speed points for Dursau Chariot to sort of balance the PIK Panzer out. So basically what it means, with this you can shoot further, but with this you can move faster, and also it's like 2 different, two slightly different build from the same unit type, and hopefully this will also give you guys some option to choose between the 2 team from the first edition of Papeon. So are you guys the type of guys, are you guys the type of player who wants to camp out and sort of like snipe from far away? Then I think PIK Horde is your go-to team or your choice, because you have the cannoneers and the panzers that can do that job well. And if you're a type of guy who just want to, you know, charge in, break the line, break the enemy formation, and kind of try to flank and shoot people, shoot the enemy up close, then I think Dursau Warriors is the perfect choice for that. And last but not least, as already shown, while I try to explain the melee unit, you can the heads from the tank units, they are not glued, and it's meant to be like that because to make sudden death also applicable for this unit, it means that the head cannot be glued, so that actually if you're lucky and you are really good at aiming, you can shoot your bullet and chances are that you can actually shoot the heads away. Happens couple times already while I play tested it, and trust me, it's super fun when you manage to do that, and it can just like turn the tide of the battle just like this, you know. Like imagine you are playing and you feel like you are winning because you still have the tank, you know, and with the tank it got like a 5 HP, and you can almost always use that as a blockade as well. Sorry, I mean, you know, like you can hide behind, so it's also cool. And then suddenly one of your range units snipe the head of your tank unit and make it fly like that, and suddenly it's gone. So yeah, pretty fun. This is the only you know, the giant unit that we have with a weakness, so that it will still be balanced in terms of the game mechanics in comparison to the other units. So yeah, these are the 2 tank units. This is the I call it the shooting stick. I hope you guys can now understand more about specific units and what is how can you play with each of them. Hope you guys can check out the Papeon page and, you know, try out yourself. And apart from that, see you in the next video.